The laughter started with my brother and spread around the dinner table like wildfire. I stood in my parents' living room, holding my business plan, feeling my face burn with embarrassment. "David, you really think anyone will pay for personalized meal prep delivery?" My brother Marcus said between laughs. "Your business isn't worth $100, man. Give it up." My father shook his head slowly. "Son, you need to get a real job. This dream of yours is just that, a dream. You're 28 years old. Time to grow up." My mother looked sympathetic, but didn't defend me. Even my best friend, Jake, who I'd invited for moral support, looked uncomfortable. "Maybe they have a point, David. The market's pretty saturated." I'd spent 6 months developing this idea. Healthy, customized meal plans delivered weekly based on individual dietary needs and preferences. Not generic meal kits, but truly personalized nutrition. The research was solid. The business plan was detailed, but nobody believed in it. "I'm doing this," I said quietly, "with or without your support." Marcus laughed again. "With what money? You're broke, living in mom and dad's basement." He wasn't wrong. My savings account had $3,200. Everything I'd saved from my last job before I quit to focus on this business. I left my parents' house that night feeling crushed but determined. The mockery echoed in my mind all the way back to my basement apartment. My phone buzzed with a text from Jake. "Sorry, man. Just being realistic. Maybe start smaller." I didn't respond. The next morning, I took my $3,200 to the bank and withdrew it all. Then I found a tiny garage space for rent, $200 per month. It was dirty, cold, and barely had electricity. But it was mine. I spent 3 days cleaning it, setting up a small desk, and creating a makeshift office. My business, NutriPlan Custom Meals, officially existed. On paper, anyway. I printed flyers and spent 2 weeks walking around my neighborhood, handing them to anyone who'd take one. Most people threw them away immediately. Some listened politely before declining. One elderly woman said my idea sounded interesting, but she couldn't afford it. By week 3, I'd spent $700 on supplies, rent, and marketing materials. 0 customers. 0 revenue. My savings were down to $2,500. I sat in that cold garage one evening, wondering if everyone had been right. Maybe my business really wasn't worth $100. Maybe I was wasting time and money chasing an impossible dream. My phone pinged with an email notification. Unknown sender. Subject line: "Your vision has potential." The email was brief but powerful. "David, I've been watching your efforts in the community. Your flyers caught my attention. Most people don't have the courage to pursue their ideas despite rejection. That quality is rare. Your business concept is sound, but your approach needs adjustment. Focus on quality over quantity. Start with one perfect customer experience, then scale. You have potential. Don't give up. Funds transferred to help you continue." I refreshed my email, confused. Then I checked my bank account online. Someone had deposited $5,000. My hand shook as I read the amount 3 times to make sure it was real. $5,000 from an anonymous source. Who would do this? Why? I tried responding to the email, but it bounced back. Address not found. Over the next week, I thought constantly about that message and money. Someone believed in me when nobody else did. Someone saw potential in my idea. I couldn't waste this opportunity. I used the money carefully, bought better ingredients, created professional packaging, and developed a simple website. Instead of trying to get hundreds of customers, I focused on getting one perfect client who'd love the service so much they'd tell others. I created a free trial offer for 5 people. Within 3 days, 3 people signed up. Real potential customers interested in personalized meal plans. My first 3 trial customers were Jennifer, a busy nurse working 12-hour shifts, Robert, a diabetic struggling with meal planning, and Lisa, a fitness enthusiast wanting to optimize her nutrition. I spent hours with each one, learning their dietary needs, preferences, restrictions, and goals. Then I created completely customized meal plans and prepared their first week of meals personally. The work was exhausting. I shopped for ingredients, cooked everything in my garage kitchen setup, packaged meals carefully, and delivered them myself. 18-hour days. But when Jennifer called me after her first week, cried with gratitude because she'd finally eaten healthy meals despite her crazy schedule, I knew I was onto something. David, this is exactly what I needed. How much for continuing? I charged her $80 per week. She paid immediately and referred 2 of her co-worker friends. Robert's blood sugar levels improved dramatically in 2 weeks. His doctor was impressed. He signed up for monthly service and told everyone at his diabetes support group. Lisa posted about NutriPlan on her fitness Instagram account with 15,000 followers. I got 23 inquiries in 1 day. Suddenly, I had more potential customers than I could handle alone. My garage operation couldn't scale. I needed help, equipment, and a real commercial kitchen. I checked my bank account. After expenses, I had $6,400. Not nearly enough. That evening, another email arrived from my anonymous benefactor. You're doing well. Next phase requires investment. Application attached for a small business loan. Use my guidance wisely. The loan application was already partially filled out with information about NutriPlan. Whoever this anonymous investor was, they'd done serious research on my business. Following their advice, I applied for a $15,000 small business loan. 3 weeks later, I was approved. With capital secured, I rented a small commercial kitchen space, hired 2 part-time employees, and bought professional equipment. My customer base grew to 17 clients. Monthly revenue hit $5,400. Not profitable yet after expenses, but growing. My family's reaction was mixed. My mother was cautiously optimistic. My father remained skeptical. Marcus openly mocked my cute little catering business at family gatherings. Call me when you're making real money, he'd say. His consulting job paid $90,000 annually. He never let me forget it. But the anonymous investor's messages kept me motivated. Every few weeks, I'd receive an email with advice. Focus on customer retention over acquisition. Document your processes for scaling. Build relationships with local farms for ingredient sourcing. Each suggestion was gold. My business improved with every implementation. 6 months in, I had 43 regular clients and monthly revenue of $13,000. I was finally breaking even starting to save a little. Then everything nearly collapsed when my biggest client, a corporate wellness program serving 12 people, suddenly canceled without explanation. The corporate client cancellation hit hard. 12 customers gone overnight. That was nearly 30% of my revenue. I called the HR manager who'd arranged the contract. David, we loved your service. But honestly, some employees complained about portion sizes and variety. We found another company offering more options. The criticism stung. I'd been so focused on nutrition and customization that I'd neglected variety and presentation. That night, I sat in my commercial kitchen feeling defeated. Maybe my family was right. Maybe I wasn't cut out for this. My phone pinged. Another email from my anonymous investor. Setbacks are lessons, not failures. Listen to your lost customers. Improve your offering. This is how you grow. The message was simple but powerful. Instead of wallowing, I surveyed my remaining clients about what they wanted to see improved. The feedback was honest and helpful. People loved the personalization in nutrition but wanted more variety, better presentation, and flexible portion options. I spent 2 weeks completely overhauling my menu system, created more recipes, improved plating and packaging, and offered customizable portion sizes. Then I reached out to the corporate client who'd left. I heard your feedback and made significant changes. Would you consider giving us another chance? First week free for everyone. They agreed to a trial. After that week, all 12 customers wanted to continue. The HR manager called personally. David, this is exactly what we wanted originally. You listened and adapted. That's rare. The corporate client's return and positive feedback attracted attention. Their parent company had offices in 3 cities and wanted to discuss expanding NutriPlan services to all locations. I met with their wellness director, a woman named Patricia Morrison. David, we're impressed with your adaptability and quality. We'd like to offer a partnership. We'll guarantee you 60 corporate clients across our 3 offices. In exchange, you'll need to scale your operation significantly and maintain consistent quality. 60 clients would more than double my business overnight. It was exactly the breakthrough I needed, but it also terrified me. Could I scale that fast without losing quality? I had 2 part-time employees and 1 small commercial kitchen. I need 2 weeks to prepare a proposal, I told Patricia. She agreed. That night, I stared at the ceiling of my basement apartment, trying to figure out how to make this work. I'd need more staff, larger kitchen space, better equipment, and a delivery system. The investment required was at least $40,000, money I didn't have. I didn't want to take another loan without being sure I could handle the expansion. The anonymous investor's email arrived at 2 a.m. Opportunities like this define businesses. Take calculated risks. I'm transferring $20,000. Use it to prepare for this partnership. You're ready for this. I checked my bank the next morning. $20,000 had been deposited. My mysterious benefactor had just given me the resources to change everything. With the $20,000 investment, I moved fast. Hired 3 full-time employees, including an experienced chef named Marcus who understood nutrition and flavor. Leased a larger commercial kitchen with multiple cooking stations. Bought equipment to handle higher volume. Created systems for efficient meal prep, packaging, and delivery. The preparation was intense. 16-hour days for 2 straight weeks. But when I presented my proposal to Patricia Morrison, I was confident. NutriPlan can handle 60 clients immediately and scale to 200 within 6 months. Here's our quality control process, delivery schedule, and pricing structure. Patricia reviewed everything carefully. Then she smiled. This is impressive, David. You've thought of everything. We have a deal. We signed the contract that afternoon. 60 corporate clients, starting immediately at $75 per person weekly. Monthly revenue would jump to $18,000 from this contract alone. I called my mother to share the news. She was genuinely excited. David, I'm so proud of you. This is really happening. But when I mentioned it at the next family dinner, Marcus's response was predictable. Corporate catering? That's not a real business. You're basically just a glorified cafeteria worker. Wake me up when you're making 6 figures. His words stung, but I was learning not to let his skepticism affect me. The anonymous investor's messages had taught me to focus on progress, not proving others wrong. The corporate partnership launched successfully. My team executed perfectly. Client satisfaction scores were excellent. Month 9 brought unexpected disaster. One of my suppliers delivered contaminated chicken. I didn't discover the problem until after delivering meals to 37 clients, including 15 corporate customers. Within hours, my phone was ringing nonstop. 3 people got food poisoning. Mild cases, thankfully, but still serious. The corporate wellness director called immediately. David, we need to pause services until we understand what happened. I was devastated. Everything I had built was at risk because of someone else's mistake. I immediately refunded every affected customer, covered their medical expenses, and voluntarily suspended all services until I could implement better quality control measures. The financial hit was massive. $12,000 in refunds and medical costs. Lost revenue from suspended services. But more than money, I'd lost trust. That night, I received an email from someone I hadn't heard from in months. My old mentor from my previous job, Mr. Harrison, reached out with a warning. David, heard about the contamination issue. You need to know that Tasty Meals, your biggest competitor, is spreading rumors that your kitchen doesn't meet health standards. They're trying to destroy your reputation while you're vulnerable. The betrayal from a competitor I'd never even interacted with was shocking, but it also clarified something. I was becoming successful enough to threaten established businesses. My anonymous investor's message arrived minutes later. Crisis reveals character. Handle this professionally. Truth always wins. Following my anonymous investor's advice, I handled the crisis head-on. First, I hired an independent health inspector to audit my entire operation. They found 0 violations. My kitchen met all standards. The contamination had definitely come from the supplier. Second, I voluntarily published the inspection report publicly on my website. Transparency over defensiveness. Third, I terminated the relationship with the contaminated supplier and established relationships with 3 certified organic farms for direct sourcing. Quality control at the source. Fourth, I personally called every affected customer to apologize, explain what happened, and detail the changes I'd implemented. Most were understanding. Several actually appreciated my honesty and wanted to continue service. Patricia Morrison called after reviewing my crisis response. David, the way you handled this was impressive. Most businesses would have made excuses or hidden. You took responsibility and fixed the problem. We're ready to resume services. Within 3 weeks, I'd recovered all my corporate clients and gained 7 new individual customers who'd heard about my transparent response to the crisis. The competitors' rumors backfired when my published health inspection showed perfect compliance, while highlighting their attempt to spread false information. My business emerged stronger. Monthly revenue hit $22,000. I finally moved out of my parents' basement and into a small apartment. The relief on my mother's face was priceless. But my anonymous benefactor's next message contained a warning. Success attracts both opportunity and enemies. Protect your business assets. Legal structures matter. Following the investor's advice about legal protection, I hired a business attorney to properly structure NutriPlan. We created an LLC, trademarked the name, and established contracts protecting my recipes and processes. The legal work cost $4,000, but provided security I hadn't realized I needed. That security proved valuable sooner than expected. Month 11 brought my biggest opportunity yet. A regional fitness center chain with locations in 5 states wanted to discuss a massive partnership. They had 87,000 members and wanted to offer NutriPlan services as a premium benefit. I met with their CEO, Richard Blackwell, at their corporate headquarters. David, we've researched you thoroughly. Your quality, your customer service, your crisis management. Everything impresses us. We want NutriPlan as our exclusive meal prep partner. The contract terms were incredible. They guarantee a minimum of 300 clients monthly at $65 per person. $19,500 in guaranteed monthly revenue from this one partnership. But there was a catch. They wanted partial ownership of NutriPlan, 25% equity in exchange for the contract and their marketing support. I asked for a week to consider. That night, I wrestled with the decision. 25% ownership was significant, but this partnership could transform NutriPlan from a small local business into a regional operation. I needed guidance. For the first time, I replied directly to my anonymous investor's last email, hoping they'd respond. I need advice about an equity partnership. Can we speak directly? The response came within an hour. Call this number tomorrow at 9 a.m. I dialed the number at exactly 9 a.m. A man's voice answered. David, it's good to finally speak directly. I'm Thomas Whitmore. The name hit me like lightning. Thomas Whitmore was a legend in the business world. He'd built 3 successful companies from nothing and sold them for hundreds of millions. He retired 5 years ago at age 62. You're my anonymous investor? Why would someone like you help me? Thomas chuckled. Because 23 years ago, I was exactly where you are. Young entrepreneur, big dream, everyone mocking me. Someone helped me anonymously, and I vowed to pay it forward. I've been watching you for 10 months, David. You have something special. Resilience, adaptability, integrity. We talked for 2 hours. Thomas explained that the fitness center partnership was a trap. They'll take 25% equity, then slowly increase demands until they control your entire business. I've seen it happen dozens of times. He offered an alternative. I'll invest $50,000 for 15% equity. No control over operations. You keep full decision-making authority. Use the money to scale independently without needing the fitness center partnership. The offer was generous and aligned with my vision, but I had questions. Why reveal yourself now? Because you're at a crossroads. The decisions you make in the next month will define whether NutriPlan becomes something significant or just another acquired subsidiary. I want you to understand who's supporting you and why. With Thomas's investment and guidance, I declined the fitness center's partnership offer. Instead, I used his $50,000 to open 2 additional kitchen locations in nearby cities and hire regional managers. The expansion was strategic and measured. No equity giveaways, just smart growth funded by capital and reinvested profits. By month 14, NutriPlan operated in 3 cities with 700 clients and monthly revenue of $46,000. We were finally profitable after expenses, with money left over for savings and continued growth. My family's attitude shifted. My mother openly bragged about my business to her friends. My father admitted he'd been wrong to discourage me. Even Marcus's mockery became less frequent, though he still made occasional comments about me being lucky. But the real validation came when the regional fitness center, the same one whose partnership I declined, approached me again. This time, they wanted to feature NutriPlan in their facilities without any equity requirements. Just a straightforward referral partnership, where they promote my services to their members in exchange for a small commission on new clients. I agreed immediately. The partnership brought 317 new clients over 6 months. Then disaster struck again. My most trusted employee, the chef I'd hired during the corporate expansion, was caught stealing client information and recipes. He'd been secretly preparing to launch a competing business, using everything he'd learned from NutriPlan. The betrayal hit hard. I'd trusted him completely, trained him personally, shared my vision with him. Thomas called the morning I discovered the theft. "David, I heard about your employee situation. How are you handling it?" I was honest. I feel betrayed. I trusted him, taught him everything, and he was planning to steal my business model. "What are you going to do?" Thomas asked. "Fire him and sue for breach of contract. He signed non-compete agreements. I have legal grounds." Thomas was quiet for a moment. "You're right to fire him, but consider carefully about the lawsuit. Legal battles are expensive and time-consuming. Sometimes the best response to betrayal is simply succeeding so thoroughly that their theft becomes irrelevant." I thought about his words. He was right. Spending months in legal battles would distract from growing my business. I fired the employee immediately and sent a formal cease and desist letter through my attorney. But I didn't pursue a lawsuit. Instead, I focused on making NutriPlan so successful that a competing business couldn't compete. Over the next 3 months, I improved everything. Better recipes, enhanced customer service, streamlined operations. I opened 2 more locations and hired a marketing professional. The employee who tried to steal my business did launch his competing service. It failed within 4 months. His meals were mediocre imitations without the personalization and quality that made NutriPlan special. Meanwhile, my business continued growing. By month 18, we had 1,200 clients across 5 cities. Monthly revenue exceeded $78,000. I hired my first executive team member, a COO, to handle daily operations while I focused on strategy. Month 19 brought an unexpected invitation. The National Small Business Association wanted me to speak at their annual summit. 3,000 entrepreneurs and business leaders would attend. "David, your story of building NutriPlan from a garage operation to a successful regional business despite rejection and setbacks is inspiring. We'd like you to share your journey as our keynote speaker." I was honored but terrified. Speaking to 3,000 people was far outside my comfort zone. I called Thomas for advice. Should I accept this? Public speaking isn't my strength. Thomas laughed. "David, 18 months ago, you were working from a cold garage with 0 customers. You've overcome much harder challenges than public speaking. Accept the invitation. Your story can inspire hundreds of people." I agreed. The summit was 6 weeks away. I spent every spare moment preparing my speech, working with a speaking coach Thomas recommended. The night before my presentation, I'd barely slept. My phone rang at 7 a.m. It was Thomas. "Remember why you started NutriPlan. Not to prove doubters wrong, but to help people eat healthier despite busy lives." Share that passion. Everything else will follow. His words calmed me. That afternoon, I stood backstage listening to my introduction. My heart pounded. Then I walked out to applause and began sharing my story. 20 months ago, my family told me my business wasn't worth $100. That rejection became the fuel that built what I'm about to share with you. My keynote speech lasted 40 minutes. I shared everything. The mockery from my family, the anonymous investor who believed in me, the setbacks and betrayals, the gradual growth of NutriPlan. The audience was completely silent throughout. When I finished with my message about persistence despite doubt, the ovation was overwhelming. People stood and applauded for nearly 3 minutes. Afterward, dozens of entrepreneurs approached me. Some wanted advice. Others wanted to share their own rejection stories. But the most impactful conversation was with a venture capital investor named Sarah Chun. David, your business model is exactly what the health and wellness industry needs. Have you considered major expansion? National scale? She offered to introduce me to her firm. Within 2 weeks, I was sitting in a downtown conference room with 3 venture capital partners. They'd researched NutriPlan thoroughly. David, we'd like to invest $2 million for 30% equity. With this capital, you could expand to 25 cities within 18 months. $2 million. The number was staggering. I asked for time to consider and immediately called Thomas. They're offering serious money. But 30% equity seems high. Thomas reviewed the terms carefully. The equity percentage is negotiable, but more importantly, what are their plans for your business? Will you maintain operational control? Will they respect your vision? Those questions led to 3 weeks of intense negotiations. I finally agreed to $1.8 million for 25% equity, with guaranteed operational control and board seats that protected my decision-making authority. The day I signed, I thought about my brother Marcus laughing at my $100 business. NutriPlan was now valued at over $7 million. The venture capital investment accelerated everything. Within 6 months, NutriPlan operated in 14 cities with 4,300 clients. Monthly revenue hit $312,000. I hired a full executive team. CFO, CMO, VP of operations. We moved into proper corporate offices. The business I'd started in a garage employed 63 people. But rapid growth brought unexpected challenges. Quality control became harder. Customer complaints increased. Some locations struggled with consistency. I was working 100-hour weeks trying to maintain the personal touch that made NutriPlan special while managing massive growth. One evening, exhausted and stressed, I received an email from Thomas. David, you're trying to do everything yourself. Delegate, trust your team. Your role is vision and strategy now, not daily operations. This is the hardest transition for founders, but it's necessary. He was right. I'd built NutriPlan on personal attention to detail. Letting go felt like losing control. But I couldn't scale if I insisted on managing everything personally. I spent the next month properly empowering my executive team, gave them real authority and responsibility, created systems that maintained our quality standards without requiring my personal involvement in every decision. The business actually improved when I stepped back. My team brought fresh perspectives and ideas I'd never considered. By month 26, we had 6,000 clients across 18 cities. But success attracted unwanted attention. Tasty Meals, the same competitor who'd spread rumors during my contamination crisis, launched a new service that copied NutriPlan's model almost exactly. They even hired away 3 of my employees to help them replicate my processes. The competitor's copycat service launched with massive marketing. They had deeper pockets and spent millions on advertising. For the first time since starting NutriPlan, my growth stalled. New client acquisition dropped 37%. Some existing clients switched to Tasty Meals, attracted by aggressive introductory pricing. I panicked. Everything I had built was under threat from a competitor with more resources. Thomas called me during this crisis. Remember what I told you about the employee who tried to steal your business? The same principle applies here. They can copy your processes, but they can't copy your culture or your genuine commitment to customers. Focus on what makes you different. I took his advice and launched a campaign highlighting what truly made NutriPlan special. Not just personalized meals, but personalized care. Our chefs knew clients' dietary journeys. Our delivery drivers remembered their preferences. Our customer service team treated each person as an individual, not an account number. We created video testimonials from longtime clients sharing how NutriPlan had transformed their health, showed behind-the-scenes content of our chefs and team members, made our culture visible. The response was powerful. Clients who'd switched to tasty meals started coming back. Their food is fine, but they don't care about me personally like NutriPlan does. New client acquisition recovered. Within 3 months, we regained all lost ground plus grown an additional 22%. Tasty Meals' copycat service struggled because they replicated the surface without understanding the heart of what we did. Month 30 brought news that changed everything. The National Business Association announced their Businessman of the Year nominations. I was on the list. David Martinez, founder and CEO of NutriPlan Custom Meals, has built a multi-million-dollar business focused on personalized health and nutrition. From humble beginnings in a garage to operating in 22 cities, his journey exemplifies entrepreneurial spirit and resilience. I stared at the nomination email, unable to believe it was real. Businessman of the Year. Me, the guy who'd been mocked by his own family for having a business that wasn't worth $100. I called Thomas immediately. Did you see the nomination? Thomas chuckled. I did. I may have submitted your name for consideration. You've earned this recognition, David. Your story deserves to be celebrated. The next 6 weeks were surreal. Media interviews, profile articles, photo shoots. The National Business Association conducted extensive research on my business and background. My family's reaction was mixed. My mother was thrilled. My father finally admitted he'd been completely wrong to discourage me. Marcus congratulated me, though I could see the jealousy behind his words. Jake, my old best friend, reached out to apologize for doubting me initially. Man, I should have supported you from the beginning. What you've built is incredible. The award ceremony was scheduled for December 15th, but 2 weeks before the event, Tasty Meals launched a public relations campaign trying to undermine my nomination. They claimed NutriPlan's success was built on stolen recipes and unethical business practices. The accusations were completely false but damaging. The false accusations from Tasty Meals threatened everything. The National Business Association contacted me to discuss the allegations. David, we need to address these claims before the award ceremony. Can you provide documentation disproving them? I spent 3 days compiling evidence. Original recipe development notes. Timestamps showing when I created each process. Testimonials from longtime employees. Health inspection records. Financial audits. Everything demonstrating that NutriPlan was built on original work and ethical practices. My attorney sent a formal response to Tasty Meals, threatening legal action for defamation. The documentation I provided to the National Business Association was comprehensive and irrefutable. They issued a public statement. After thorough investigation, we found no merit to allegations against David Martinez or NutriPlan. The nomination stands, but the damage was done. Industry publications had covered Tasty Meals' accusations. Some people believed the rumors despite the evidence. That evening, feeling defeated, I received a call from Thomas. David, I need to tell you something. Tasty Meals is run by someone I know well. My former business partner. Actually, we had a falling out years ago over ethical disagreements. He's attacking you to get to me. I was stunned. This is about you? Partially. But more importantly, it's about what you represent. You've succeeded by doing things the right way. That threatens people who've built businesses on shortcuts and manipulation. Don't let this break you. The truth is already documented. Focus on the ceremony. Thomas offered to publicly support me against Tasty Meals' allegations. I can make statements about my former partner's history of unethical practices. Fight fire with fire. But I declined. I appreciate it, Thomas. But I don't want to win by attacking others. I want to win because NutriPlan success and integrity speak for themselves. He was quiet for a moment. That's exactly the right answer. You've learned the most important lesson. Success isn't about destroying competitors. It's about building something so good that criticism becomes irrelevant. The week before the award ceremony, something unexpected happened. 5 of Tasty Meal's former employees contacted me. They quit in protest over the false allegations against NutriPlan. Mr. Martinez, we couldn't stay at a company that lies about competitors. We've seen your business model. It's completely original. We'd like to work for you if you're hiring. I was moved by their integrity. I hired 3 of them immediately. The award ceremony arrived. The ballroom held 800 business leaders, entrepreneurs, and media. My entire family attended. Even Marcus came, though he still looked uncomfortable. When the presenter announced the Businessman of the Year award, they showed a video chronicling my journey. Family members dismissing my idea, the garage where I started, the growth of NutriPlan, client testimonials, employee stories. My mother was crying by the end. Then they called my name. This year's Businessman of the Year award goes to David Martinez, founder and CEO of NutriPlan Custom Meals. I walked the stage in a daze. Standing at the podium, holding the Businessman of the Year award, I looked out at 800 people applauding. I saw my mother wiping tears, my father looking proud, Marcus sitting with an expression I'd never seen from him before. Respect. I began my acceptance speech with the truth. 3 years ago, my family told me my business idea wasn't worth $100. That rejection was painful, but became the foundation of everything I built. Because success isn't about proving doubters wrong. It's about believing in your vision strongly enough to pursue it despite doubt. I share the story of my anonymous investor, revealing Thomas Whitmore's role publicly for the first time. A legendary entrepreneur believed in me when no one else did. He taught me that business success is measured not just in profit, but in the positive impact you have on others. I thank my team, my clients, and even my competitors. Challenges make us stronger. Setbacks teach us lessons. Betrayals show us who we really are. Every obstacle I faced became an opportunity to improve. The speech lasted 12 minutes. When I finished, the ovation was even louder than the initial applause. Afterward, dozens of people approached me. Entrepreneurs wanting advice, investors interested in NutriPlan, media requesting interviews. But the most meaningful moment came when Marcus pulled me aside. David, I was wrong about everything. I mocked your dream because I was jealous. You had the courage to pursue something you believed in while I played it safe with a corporate job I hate. I'm sorry. The weeks following the award were overwhelming. NutriPlan received 3,000 new client inquiries. National media coverage brought attention from businesses across the country wanting to partner or invest. Multiple acquisition offers arrived from major food service companies. The largest offer was from Health Corp, a national wellness company, for $42 million. I'd owned NutriPlan outright for just over 3 years, and someone wanted to pay $42 million for it. The number was life-changing. I could sell, become wealthy beyond anything I'd imagined, and retire at 31. I met with Thomas to discuss the offer. What do you think I should do? Thomas smiled. What do you want to do? Money is just a number. Purpose is everything. I thought about why I'd started NutriPlan, not for money or recognition, but to help people eat healthier despite busy lives. To build a business based on genuine care for clients. To prove that success could come from integrity and hard work. I don't want to sell. I realized NutriPlan is just getting started. We can help millions of people if we keep growing the right way. Thomas nodded approvingly. That's the answer I hoped you'd give. Now, let's talk about what's next. With his guidance, I declined the acquisition offer. Instead, I focused on sustainable expansion. Open locations in 8 more cities. Developed new product lines for specific dietary needs. Created a training program to help other entrepreneurs start similar businesses in their communities. By year 4, NutriPlan operated in 35 cities with 12,000 clients and annual revenue exceeding $22 million. Success brought opportunities to give back. I established the Martinez Foundation to help aspiring entrepreneurs who face rejection and lack of resources. We provided seed funding, mentorship, and support to people building businesses with limited capital. Thomas served as the foundation's advisory board chairman. We personally mentored 20 entrepreneurs each year, giving them the support I'd received when I needed it most. One of our first ments was a young woman named Sophia who'd been dismissed by investors for having an idea that wasn't practical enough. Her concept for sustainable packaging solutions was brilliant but unconventional. I invested $5,000 to help her start, the same amount my anonymous investor had given me. Within 18 months, Sophia's company was thriving. Watching her succeed felt more rewarding than any business milestone I'd achieved. My family relationships had completely transformed. My mother became NutriPlan's biggest unofficial promoter. My father invested his retirement savings in expanding the business. Even Marcus quit his corporate job and asked to work for NutriPlan. I hired him, not because he was family, but because he genuinely changed and brought valuable skills. The media continued covering NutriPlan's growth and my entrepreneurial journey. Business schools requested case studies. Universities invited me to speak. But the moment that meant most came when a young entrepreneur approached me after a speaking event. "Mr. Martinez, my family says my business idea is worthless, but your story gives me hope. If you could succeed despite rejection, maybe I can too." I gave him my card and said the same thing Thomas had once told me. Rejection is data, not destiny. Believe in your vision. I'm writing this from NutriPlan's corporate headquarters, looking out at a team of 193 people who believe in our mission of making healthy eating accessible and personalized. It's been 4 years since I stood in my parents' living room being told my business wasn't worth $100. NutriPlan now operates in 42 cities with over 15,000 clients and annual revenue exceeding $34 million. But these numbers aren't what I'm most proud of. I'm proud that we've helped thousands of people transform their health through personalized nutrition. I'm proud of the company culture we've built, where employees feel valued and clients feel cared for. I'm proud that we've proven a business can be profitable while prioritizing people over pure profit. The journey from mockery to Businessman of the Year taught me lessons I couldn't have learned any other way. I learned that rejection is often a reflection of others' limitations, not your potential. I learned that anonymous support can come from unexpected places when you're pursuing something meaningful. I learned that setbacks and betrayals are inevitable, but how you respond to them defines your character and your success. Most importantly, I learned that true success isn't measured by proving doubters wrong or accumulating wealth. It's measured by staying true to your vision, building something that positively impacts others, and using your success to lift up those who are where you once were. Last month, I received an email from my brother Marcus. He's now NutriPlan's Director of Business Development and has helped us expand into 12 new markets. His message was simple but meaningful. "David, thank you for giving me a second chance. Working here has taught me more about integrity and purpose than my entire corporate career. I'm sorry it took me so long to see what you were building." Thomas Whitmore remains my mentor and friend. We speak weekly, and he continues guiding me through challenges. He recently told me something that brought our relationship full circle. "David, when I invested in you anonymously 4 years ago, I was looking for someone who reminded me of my younger self. Someone with vision, resilience, and integrity. You've exceeded every expectation. But more than that, you've taught me something. Success isn't just about building wealth or winning awards. It's about building something meaningful and using it to help others chase their own dreams." The Martinez Foundation has now supported 83 entrepreneurs. 12 of them have built successful businesses that are creating jobs and serving their communities. Watching them succeed feels more rewarding than any personal achievement. Next month, NutriPlan is launching an initiative to provide free meal services to low-income families struggling with nutrition access. It's not the most profitable decision, but it aligns with why I started this business, to help people eat healthier, regardless of their circumstances. My parents hosted a family dinner last weekend. As we sat around the same table where I'd once been mocked, my father raised his glass. "I want to propose a toast to David For years ago, I told him to give up on his dream and get a real job. I was completely wrong. David, you've taught this family that believing in yourself matters more than anyone else's opinion. We're proud of you. Even Marcus raised his glass without sarcasm or jealousy, just genuine respect and appreciation. As I look back on this journey, I realized the greatest gift wasn't the Businessman of the Year award or the financial success. It was learning that your worth isn't determined by others' opinions. When people say your idea isn't worth $100, they're really revealing their own inability to see potential. To anyone reading this who's been dismissed, mocked, or told their dreams are worthless, your doubters are wrong. Not because they're bad people, but because they can't see what you see. Your vision is valid. Your ideas have value. Your persistence will be rewarded. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's built through countless small decisions to keep going when quitting seems easier. It's maintained by staying true to your values, even when shortcuts are tempting. It's measured not by what you accumulate, but by what you build and who you help along the way. My business was never about proving my family wrong or showing the world I could succeed. It was about helping people eat healthier and building something meaningful. The recognition and financial rewards were byproducts of staying focused on that mission. If you're starting your journey right now, facing rejection and doubt, remember this. The people who mock your $100 idea today might be congratulating you when you're Businessman of the Year tomorrow. But by then, you'll have learned that their opinion never mattered as much as your own belief in your vision. Trust yourself. Find mentors who believe in you. Learn from every setback. Stay true to your values. Build something that matters. The rest will follow in ways you can't imagine when you're just starting out in a cold garage with nothing but a dream and $3,000. And when you do succeed, remember to reach back and help the next person who's being told their idea isn't worth pursuing. Because that's how we create a world where innovation thrives and dreams become reality. Thank you for following my journey. Now go build yours.